Pedro Pascal is going from TV to movies with the biggest budget movie of his career so far with Fantastic Four, but doing it, everyone seems to have one question on their mind, and that's that if he slept with Vanessa Kirby or not. When it comes to Pedro Pascal and Vanessa Kirby taking on the role of Mr. and Mrs. Fantastic, originally a lot of people didn't think they were going to get the part, and they thought John Krasinski and Emily Blunt were going to get it instead. The reason being that John Krasinski played Mr. Fantastic in Doctor Strange 2, so a lot of people took that as a dead hint that he was going to get the part. Also because Kevin Feige and Marvel have wanted to work with Emily Blunt for a long time, where she was actually the first pick to play Black Widow, but she couldn't do it because she was signed to do Gulliver's Travels instead. That idea got debunked by Elizabeth Olsen, who revealed in Doctor Strange 2 she didn't even know John Krasinski was in it until it came out, and she thought it was actually Daniel Craig in the movie instead. Because originally Marvel wanted Daniel Craig to play a character named Baldur the Brave, but the problem was that contract didn't work out, so they ended up not doing the deal. John Krasinski revealed him playing Mr. Fantastic was just a last-minute deal because Daniel Craig couldn't do it, and when they actually cast Pedro Pascal to be Mr. Fantastic, they didn't even bother calling John Krasinski. So that takes us to the part of the story where Pedro Pascal and Vanessa Kirby got the role, but many people think their marketing is weird, with Vanessa Kirby doing things like running her fingers through Pedro Pascal's hair, and then there's this right here where she's just trying to give him a kiss but then stops herself in kind of a weird way, and then this hand thing which many people found weird as well as other interactions. And for Vanessa Kirby's relationship background, she did have a 4-year relationship to actor Caleb Turner after they met doing a movie together. But then Vanessa and Caleb broke up, with it being rumored that Caleb cheated on Vanessa with Shailene Woodley when they were filming a movie together in 2019. Since that point, Vanessa Kirby's been with Paul Rabel, who was the creator of the Premier Lacrosse League, and the two are actually engaged currently. For why people think there's something going on between Vanessa and Pedro is every interview they do together gets physical like this one. And the counter that everyone gives is how Vanessa interacted with Henry Cavill, where she worked with him before and did interviews with him, but there was no flirtiness or no touching or anything like that going on between those interviews. Well, everyone's trying to make this big deal over that as their proof, saying Vanessa Kirby was kind of standoffish with Henry Cavill. They are forgetting who Henry Cavill is, with the big example being Millie Bobby Brown, where after the two worked together on Enola Holmes, Millie Bobby Brown came off saying that Henry Cavill had rules that she couldn't talk about her personal life with him, and that he tries to keep things very separate and professional. Compared to Pedro Pascal, who's this highly affectionate person, where pretty much every interview he's done with celebrities, there's always hugging involved, kissing, and other things. It's just his personality. Still, many people think there's cheating going on because this is a common thing for actors, with one example being Ryan Reynolds, who was happily married to Scarlett Johansson until he made Green Lantern and met Blake Lively, where he cheated and then got married to her. Or Jennifer Aniston, who was once married to Brad Pitt, until he cheated with Angelina Jolie while they were making the movie Mr. and Mrs. Smith together. And who could forget Ariana Grande was married to real estate developer Dalton Gomez, until she cheated on him with Ethan Slater, where they both actually got divorced after they filmed Wicked together. And that's what everyone thinks is happening here with Pedro Pascal and Vanessa Kirby, but they are forgetting a big point, and that's that Pedro Pascal is probably gay. The proof is that Pedro Pascal is a 50-year-old man, but he's never actually had a public relationship or even explicitly said that he's straight. While Pedro's never said what he actually is, he did give one clear hint when he was asked about his celebrity crush as a kid. He did say Marlon Brando when he was young. Pedro Pascal said he also had a crush on Harrison Ford when he played Indiana Jones. Now, to be fair, in that same interview, he did also say Olivia Newton-John and Michelle Pfeiffer, but those are actually seen as queer icons by many gay people because of their roles in the Grease movies. And there's also the story of how Pedro Pascal got his career started, where he said he began living on Sarah Paulson's couch, where they are actually best friends with no relationship whatsoever, and she was supporting him financially while he was trying to become an actor. And for the record, Sarah Paulson is a lesbian actress herself, where for the last 10 years she's had a relationship with Holland Taylor, who many people might remember from 2.5 Men. So again, this all points to the idea that Sarah Paulson and Pedro Pascal are like this mutually gay friendship where it's purely platonic between the two of them, which does make a lot of sense seeing how other relationships with non-celebrities work with lesbians and gay men. At the same time, it is important to note there are some relationship rumors in the past with Pedro Pascal and with one example being his Game of Thrones co-star Lena Headey, where it was rumored they were dating in 2014. That relationship is really vague, where they never came out as a couple together, which doesn't make sense for adults in their late 30s and 40s to do so. And then also when we look at this compilation of photos together, there's really no kissing or like that, but instead we just see a bunch of things that seem like this platonic friendship like a woman would have with a gay man. And then in 2015, it was reported that Pedro Pascal was in a relationship with Robin Tunney because the two were seen having dinner together. But again, that was very clearly just them being friends, because Robin Tunney actually was engaged to Nick Marmot at the time, and the two ended up getting married right afterwards, where Pedro Pascal even attended the wedding. And then the final really big relationship that Pedro Pascal's been reported of being in was with Jennifer Aniston, where the two were seen going into a restaurant together, but the problem with that is Pedro Pascal came out the next day saying they were just friends, no pun intended. This all points to this case that Pedro Pascal is most likely gay, which is completely fine. He has every right to be in the closet and be private about his life, but it also seems like people just don't want to admit this, even though it's really, really obvious, because he's so used to playing the alpha male in all of his roles like Mandalorian, Game of Thrones, Narcos, and now Fantastic Four. For men and women, he's developed this standard of what a modern man in 2025 should be, but forgetting he's also extremely progressive, going against J.K. Rowling on her stance on transgender people to defend his transgender sister Lux Pascal. Pedro Pascal was also one of the main people that supported Bella Ramsey when she decided to come out as non-binary. Yeah, I think the guy is clearly gay. There was nothing going on between him and Vanessa Kirby, and I think people are just forgetting this idea that you can be a homosexual and you can also be masculine at the same time. But with that, I'm Charles Pearl. Please subscribe to learn something.